Alright, so the last day or so, I decided to install Netbsd 6.15, and I decided I wanted to install KDE 3 and Firefox in it, and it's done. I had no interruptions whatsoever, nothing, no failures at all. But it was a little tricky getting KDE set up, so I guess I'll go over that. And when you first start out with Netbsd, it's a little difficult. You're best off when you're doing the installation to set up your network and to save those network settings to rc.conf as it suggests. I made a little bit. I did take a video of the first part of it. The rest is just me building stuff, so it's really not all that exciting because it just simply works. It goes the whole way. So just start it up. Now it was problematic, so you have to know what to do first. You can install Netbsd with everything. If you do that and you decide to build KDE 3 with package source and Firefox with package source, you also want to set up the modular Xorg fonts. If you don't, you'll log into KDE and everything will be absolutely unreadable, and you have an unusable system, basically. So I'm going to log in. You also do not want to set Netbsd up without having given yourself a password. So I'm going to talk about all the little mistakes that I made, the little issues that I had. But yeah, I'm going to restart this. I'm going to see if I can get the, I don't know if they have Virtualbox guest editions for Netbsd. Anyway, I'll just hit the shift key. So if everything's going right, that should be Firefox. I guess I have a nightly. I would like to have all my menu items appear. There we are. Because I want to check is what version is this thing. 34.0.5. So I built this 2 nights ago. Alright, so what do you got to look out for? And there's some other things I'm going to want to do here. Like, you know, making my home look like a home, the system look like a system. The thing is about basically what happens in these projects is that the way you do things always changes. So, but I'll I'll just get to all this stuff. Let's see if we search for trash, maybe. That looks like trash. All right, so yeah. So so we get to the really don't like having. Wow, I am in full screen, so I'm not even getting as good of resolution as I would have. Bloody haiku. So All right, so let's just go through the stuff. I'm root, so. Boy, this is looking good. And there's your Firefox core. All right, like that. All right, so basically, you know, I can't even drop out. I don't know why they have it this way. I can't even drop out to the terminal. And in VirtualBox, if you do Control Alt F1, it's gonna do that to your host and not to your. Whatchamacallit. Alright, so basically when you do the installation, what I ended up doing is, I'll put that one up next. I made sure to download the package sources. And the difference between where it is in Haiku and Netbsd is that we've been granted the special privilege of having a user directory in Netbsd. They tore their hair out, but they finally gave in and gave us a user directory in Netbsd. And so basically, in the you just got to change directories to user package source, and then you go into meta packages. This is where you're going to be doing most of your stuff, actually. You just go into, of course, you have to have a network connection. You just change directories, and you just go for your KD3, let it all build. You're not really done once that's done. The next thing you want to, and it takes 4 hours, I'd say, with a reasonably fast machine. If the machine's newer than 2 years old, that might take 3 hours. Just give yourself some time. Then the last thing you want to do is modular Xorg server. Fonts. Sorry, modular Xorg fonts. You want to build that one. Alright, so you have a basic route, but you don't want to get in the catch-22 where you activate XDM and be stuck in this useless X term. So, it's not until after you get these things built that you would add xdm equals yes to etc.rc.conf as a part of the whole thing. But you're not done yet. You also have to type a command, capital X space minus configure, lowercase. It'll say blah 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 blah. You know, this stuff will scroll by. It says if you want to test your new Xorg server configuration, it'll tell you what command you can run, and if you do that, you'll get stuck. You have to reboot. So don't do that. It's very safe to assume that that's probably okay to use. Actually test it. do the command that they tested. It'll probably give you a gray screen that's grayed out with an X. If you're in VirtualBox, sending the Control-Alt backspace command to the system doesn't work, so you gotta just hard reboot. The file system's residual, it's good, it works, so you don't need to worry about losing everything at that point. So now you have an xorg.conf file. If you want to risk it, that you can get stuck in a loop, that's the problem. So you don't really want to, you want to test that KDE works before you activate XDM, basically. You just copy that file that's actually in your home directory, and they call it xorg.conf.new. You can use the move command, actually, mv xorg.conf.new, and you space etc x11, and then you just type xorg.conf and leave the new out of it. So now you have an X server, and make sure that you are not using USB tablet. It doesn't work in Netbsd as a way to get mouse integration as it does in Haiku. It doesn't work. So if you don't, if you set up your Xorg server without the mouse being just a regular mouse, you won't have a mouse. So you want to use the regular mouse. Then you have to also, let's see, one of these is a symbolic link. What you have to do is you have to, I believe, doing that. Properties. No, it's not. I guess it's not. Okay, I think this is a backwards. This X session is actually a symbolic link from XinitRC. XinitRC you can copy back from CP space etc. X11 Xinit, and there's another Xinit that's just sitting there. In fact, I'll just show you. You just copy that back and you rename it to XinitRC. Where's X11? Xinit. If you copy, basically all I did is copy this back into my home directory, put a dot at XinitRC. In addition to that, this X session should be symlinking to XinitRC. And what I did is I added exec user package bin start KDE. The documentation, you have to know where your start KDE command is. There's a web page, and if you did package in and didn't build from package source, your start KDE executable mean actually be in a different place. Okay, so then you have to add that. At that point, I would try. It doesn't seem to want to run unless XDM is running. You can do a start X and then inside the X term start KDE. Okay. Then exit KDE and then reboot while you're in the X term. The X term is a really ugly interface, just a bunch of white boxes. Ugh. So that way you know that KDE is going to work. So that way when you set XDM and setting XDM is difficult with NetBsd comes with a base installation of VI. The trick to VI is you just type VI in the name of the file you want to edit, and you have to know where it is. And in this case, it's rc.conf and etc. So it's VI etc. rc.conf, this thing right here. And what I ended up adding to this was xdm equals yes, but VI is not the easiest thing to work with unless you're a VI guru. Basically, once you open up the file with VI, it displays on the terminal. And the first thing you want to do is go to the thing you want to edit. And once you get there, just press the I key. And you don't want to move around too much. If you want to delete something, hit the delete key. Or just type what it is you want to type and be very careful when you type it. Because if you mistype something, you might have to just comment out the whole line with a little pound on the left, because it's really hard to navigate. Once you've got what you want in there, so hopefully xdm equals yes will be simple enough and won't present any difficulties, you have to hit the escape key and then shift ZZ to save it. So now your XDM is enabled. You know KDE works. You've set your root password, your root user with a password when you set up the system, I hope. You've done the modular Xorg fonts, which are very important. You have created, you've copied, this is the checklist. You've copied this xinitRC. You've copied a file called xinitRC from etc. x11 xinit. and you put it in your root directory, but when you put it in your root directory, you put a little dot in front of it. Then you made a symlink from that to X session. You made xorg.conf file by going into the shell and typing x space / configure. It's like this. X caps. Come on. Configure. Now, of course, I already have an X server running, but it won't do that for you. A bunch of messages will come across the screen, and it'll ask you if you want to test it. I guess I would test it. Even if you're in VirtualBox, you're not going to be able to get out of that. You're just going to have to hard reboot. But if you see a black and white screen with a black X in the middle of it, that means you got a mouse. And if you're able to move the mouse around, it means you get a mouse, you got an X window. Go ahead and take the other steps, and then you'll have a KDE 3 setup. Now, as far as Haiku binary compatibility, there wasn't much in there that I really wanted to use that came out of, at least the Haiku apps, so I'm not overly concerned about it. If you want to install some games, you have package source, or you can do package in. And package in is someone else has compiled this stuff for you. So you just do package in. There may be something you have to do to configure that whole thing. I haven't really used package in, but let's say I wanted to do ScumVM, or it just cd user package source games ScumVM. You have to know what the categories are. But see, now you have the. Now, why is that? Thank you. You can find out what's actually available and what core dumps. Now, that's your kernel. You don't want to delete that. Let's see. User package source, start games. Or say you wanted DOS-EMU, or how about Foo Billiards? Let's do Foo Billiards. So most likely, I can't warrant that every single package and package source is going to work perfectly. Most of them work well, and the people on the mailing list are actually fairly responsive. So I am kind of curious about, let's see if I could look into Netbsd Virtualbox guest editions. Now, the cool thing about Netbsd is it's got a lot of binary emulation in there, and I'm going to share folders are not supported, so you're in the same situation as Haiku as far as Samba is concerned, but Samba is going to run, and it's not a big announcement. I'm one of the 5 users in the history of Haiku to use Samba. Not seeing a lot of support for that. Now, one thing whoa. Already have it. Okay. Wow. I mean that. To get virtual Foo Billiard and Haiku. It's a 2-week journey. My God. Get out of here. And it works right. I like that. That's very. Okay. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to do the There we go, the meta packages. Now I'm going to do the modular Xorg drivers. There we go. Right, wrong. So it'll try to build drivers for this. And I think that's what Virtualbox guest editions are. And then if I and I could have more than one shell going too. Ah. What was Sam net? Package source, sorry. The thing is KDE supports browsing a Windows network. I think even out of the box, you don't even need Samba actually. I don't think so. Let's see if this works. Alright, well I think maybe then there's some other components I'm going to want to, like I think it's something called Lisa that you need. Shared folders, yeah, you're pretty much in the same boat here. And I'm hoping that this is going to do me good and I'll get a better actual resolution here in VirtualBox. At least what I had before, right? Don't want to lose anything. I'm not going to miss PE. I like Kwrite better, so I should have that. That's my favorite editor right there. Network browsing, and hey, I already got Firefox, so I've already got a better browser, and got stuff that works. I mean, I just did, what, 2 days? Now, it's a little bit more difficult to start out to get Netbsd installed. That's true, and you have to endure using VI a few times. If you actually really don't, you probably could just do a package in for Nano and edit things that way. Now it wants to download the Mesa libraries. No, it's going to download the Mesa libraries. But I can still do SAM if I want to. I can do an Apache server and I don't have any problems with it. I could, and this was made by volunteers just like anything else. Just like Haiku. Aha, so something stopped here. Now, if NetBsd doesn't have any yeah, that's gonna run, I'm sure. Now the good news though is if they actually, I'm not sure. Damn. Ported from the Linux kernel. NetBsd does have Linux binary compatibility. All your Linux stuff will be able to run in here. Probably including Go Be Productive for Linux. So that didn't work, and I don't know if it's because I already have something installed. Pretty sure I have everything I need. I should have. So I've lost mouse integration. I've lost some screen size. I wouldn't say the desktop interface, at least for me, is any better. But if you're used to BOS, Haiku is going to be what you're used to. You don't necessarily have a graphical user interface for Haiku Depot, but there is package-ins. That's command line based. I have to step back. You don't have the BE API, but the trade-off is you get a lot of apps that you'd like to use. You'd never have a chance to even run in Haiku. What are we even building here? Samba. Okay. I'm gonna poke around. There's other stuff that you could add on, and there may be just a way to get this resolution to be better. Wow, I wonder why NetBsd is not supported. What's Genode? General Linux. Now I don't have VT any. Okay, let's try that. Now I don't know how the frick you actually shut this system down without just killing it. Oh, no Christmas without. Let's see if it makes a difference. I doubt it. So FreeBSD is better along. FreeBSD is, if Linux were to crash and burn FreeBSD, you could probably fill in the space fairly quickly. Oh, that's not too good, is it? Oh, it works. Now I'm going to see if I can do the old USB tablet trick. The old USB tablet in the virtual machine trick. Well, it works if you like invisible mouses, so let's just not do that. Yeah, I guess the only thing I really liked about Haiku is that it just wasn't finished, and it was a challenge to actually make those packages. Because I'm bored with this now. Everything works pretty much, or there is no way to get it to work. Either it works or there's no way. It's, you know, Haiku, the question's unanswered. You know, it might work. You know, it might work. You know, if you try it. console out of there. There you are. Oh, do I have an office suite? Well then, I guess I'll have to do something about that. Oh yeah, I think it's under miscellaneous. Downloads the source, and all the security patches come right in. I probably, you know what? I'm gonna look. I'm gonna do a readelf, and I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see whether there's an embedded R path inside of the Firefox that I had built. I believe the Firefox, there it is. Okay, what's it pointing to? It's pointing to user package above user package bin. Okay. Huh? What are you talking about, Willis? User package, okay. www. Right. Right. Desk directory. User package. That's the location. User package library. Firefox. So it makes a symbolic link when it installs, does it? Cutting corners, are we? Hmm? Well. It's user bin, not user package bin. User package bin. That's enough information for me. Oh, we have a readout. -D. Edit, paste, and the Firefox. Let's see if we have an embedded R path. Yes, we do. We have a whole bunch of paths. So basically, Firefox ain't gonna run right if these paths don't exist, or the things it needs aren't there. So there's the math library. Now, if you want a library root, you just go like this. Let's see. Library. Here it is. So you just go like this. You just copy it, paste, and you just call it library. and it won't ruin your user experience. It'll survive. I'll survive. I won't even notice it there. I'll forget that it's even there, actually. If you want a library BSD, you just copy this thing. If you want, call it library BSD. If you want a library game, well, I'm not sure what that is, but so what are you doing? Open Colada, whatever that is. Well, eventually this thing will build. It's already built. A lot of it, if you have Firefox built, it's going to build a lot of the other stuff. So I think I'll finish for now.